Hello, everybody. This episode of the podcast and every episode of the podcast is brought to you by all of the kind folks who donate to the show on a monthly basis using our Patreon account. If you would like to be one of these lovely individuals, visit www.patreon.com/frogystyle. Frog, the letter E, _style. You can give as little as $1 a month, which is only $12 a year, or as much as $25 a month, which is a lot more per year. But each tier gives you different rewards, and if you donate the minimum amount per month, you gain access to all of our bonus content. There's about 8 episodes of bonus content right now, so I also plan on releasing a bunch more in the future, and a bunch of different types of bonus content as well. You can also find some of the bonus content on our YouTube channel. It's just Froggy Style Productions, so go over there and subscribe to that. It's exclusive content. You can only find it on YouTube or Patreon. And then there's also going to be Patreon exclusive bonus content as well. So yeah, do that if you would like or not. It's really up to you. Just thanks for listening. If you are fans of the show, however, I highly recommend that you sign up for our newsletter. Visit fsproductions.ca. It's going to be the very first thing you see when you go to the website. You just enter in your email and hit subscribe, and you are all signed up for the newsletter. It's that easy. I release the newsletter. I've toned it back to about once every 2 months, so bi-monthly. But in the newsletter, the newsletter contains things like show schedules, download links for music from like previous month's guests, and if you do sign up for the newsletter, you are automatically entered into a draw that happens on a monthly basis for a cool prize pack. The prize pack includes things like CDs, shirts, toques, stickers, stuff like that from various local bands around the city, as well as Froggy Style merch as well. So visit fsproductions.ca to sign up for the newsletter. Also, just check it out. There's a lot of cool, interesting stuff there. fsproductions.ca. On this week's episode of Groove Talk, I am joined again by Anthony and Will from the Galacticas. It was lots of fun talking to these guys. Like the first time, we nerded out a little bit. We got into topics such as Star Wars and Dragon Ball Z and Marvel, and also we talk a lot about their upcoming album, Diagnostics. It comes out on November 11th. Also, on November 11th they're having their album release show, and that'll be at the Night Owl. So I highly recommend that you check that out, and also check out Diagnostics. It's really cool. I've probably listened to it about 30 times, not even joking, from front to back. It's really, really, really good. I really dig it. Yeah, November 11th, pick up your copy because it's awesome. At the end of the podcast, you can catch a song from their upcoming album. It's the Alderaan Song. It's really awesome. It's probably one of my favorite songs from the album. So yeah, give that a listen. I hope you enjoy this episode of Groove Talk with Anthony and Will from the Galacticas, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks for listening.
This is Groove Talk with Froggy Style.
Welcome to another episode of Groove Talk, everybody. This week, wow, I almost said the Detractions. Sorry, the Galacticas.
I wish we were the Detractions.
Yeah, I know. Well, I guess it makes sense because when I walked in, I messed up his name coming out. I was like, "Hey, Corey." He's like, "It's Cody."
It's only fair.
Yeah.
Actually, you caught it. So we're good.
No, we are unfortunately the Galacticas. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Will.
Yeah, I'm Cody.
You're Cody, but you're not in the band.
No, I'm not.
You're not even in the Detractions.
No, I'm not. I'm not in any band, honestly. I just talk to him.
Yeah,
So.
I play guitar and I sing, and Will over here is the drummer.
Just the regular old dumb drummer.
That's what he is.
Yeah.
And this is your guys' second time being on the show.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, last time was like 6 months ago, 7 months. Or it was long ago.
A little bit. We were doing it. It was February. I think it was February.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're stoked to be back down here in Somerset, I think. Or,
Yeah.
or maybe I shouldn't say the location.
That's cool.
There's really angry people that listen to this podcast. Yeah, I hate that Cody guy.
Totally gonna get stalked or something,
Yeah.
or it rocks through my window. But yeah, so thanks for coming down to the suburbs.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, I'm not that far from here. I'm from the suburbs.
But I'm from way downtown.
Yeah.
But it's okay. You know, it's Thanksgiving. I had no one to hang out with. I was watching Godzilla movies. I found them for free on a streaming website because I don't know how to like torrent or anything.
Yeah.
So I just like Godzilla movies for free on Google, and I was like, here you go. I was like, yes, and I just was doing that all day. So.
Just sitting there alone.
Yeah. Well, I went for a motorcycle ride. I did that.
Oh, Mr. Cool.
Yeah, so I made up that balanced out my nerdiness.
Okay. Well,
For the
I
day.
guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you got to get it in while you still can too.
Today might have been my last day because I'm taking off for a trip in like at the end of the week here.
Yeah.
So like by the time I get back, I bet you there's not going to be any more riding to do, at least until March. I've gotten it out as early as February, but like that was a bad day.
Do you ever get like the Chinooks? Can you take it out during then? Or is
Well,
it
the
usually
problem
too
is
wet?
I mean, this is motorcycle talk, but like the problem is I have to take the battery out for the season because
Okay.
it's like I can't leave the battery outside. So usually, if I wanted to take it out during a Chinook, it means I'd have to take the seat off and put the battery in, and so I usually just don't bother
So it's
unless it's like
pain in the
Chinooking
ass.
for like 2 weeks hard, which it has before. So then I'll like relent and be like, okay. And then of course the next day it snows.
Yeah. Cool. So you guys have been busy since the last time we talked.
Yeah.
I feel.
It's been so busy. It's been too busy.
I don't think we've learned how to say no to anything, but there's no point to say no to anything because we've all been pretty free enough to do all the things that we've been doing.
Yeah, we basically just been like touring all summer, plus playing as many gigs as we can. My whole mentality is we were a new band, like we've only been around like playing gigging since January, so I figured it's good to just play as much as we can, build a name for ourselves,
Yeah.
just to start things off,
Yeah, for sure. You guys have been like all over the place too, like at least Western Canada here.
Yeah, we-
just Western Canada.
Like, because I think we've only actually played in Calgary like five times,
but
maybe.
total shows I think we're at 30
Maybe yeah.
shows.
Just because we're doing we've been all the way out to not Vancouver but Maple Ridge, which is pretty much Vancouver, and then all the way, and then going west that way, and then going out east we've been all the way to Winnipeg, and then lots of places in between essentially.
Oh, all right. So are these shows kind of like approaching you guys? Or are you like seeking them out, or how's it?
Most of since we're new, most of the time I'm seeking it out, but actually pretty quickly here we've had a few opportunities to play. Like a few have asked us, so far,
Awesome.
So yeah.
Cool. And then writing all summer on the new album that's about to come out.
Yeah.
here
Yeah,
soon.
that was kind of hard to. Well, I guess we were pretty prepared. Like we would do like a weekend where we were recording, and then we did the next weekend we went on tour, and then we came back the next weekend and recorded again.
Yeah, stuff like that, and like, I mean, there's a little bit of cheating as far as like writing goes on the album because two of the songs are just kind of remastered versions of the EP. We kept the two best ones, obviously, and then one of the songs is a cover. So I mean, I guess you could say we had written more songs, but like we just determined that this cover was probably it was more fun to do it. So it's a Taylor Swift cover, and we've been playing it live a lot, and people seem to dig it most of the time, except for Red Deer. Red Deer did not like it.
Oh yeah, that was a weird night.
Yeah. No, but we came back. We played Red Deer again, and they were okay with it.
Yeah.
They were okay with it the second time, but that's because on stage I was like, "Okay, guys, like everybody here left last time we did this song, so like this is what's happening. We're gonna ask you permission to play Taylor Swift, and if you're okay with it, and then it worked that time. So we recorded it, and yeah, it's on the physical copy, but it's an exclusive reason to get the physical copy because of the licensing issue with us just totally ripping off Taylor Swift. I can't put it on SoCan. I can't put it on the internet when we sell it on the online version of the album.
Okay.
So yeah, it's better if you get the disc if you care about having a Taylor Swift cover.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like bonus material, though. That's
Pretty
neat.
A little bit. Yeah. This is the deluxe edition.
Yeah, and you also get the sweet album art.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That was done by Rob. God damn.
Grzycki?
I always want to say just like Gretzky. Rob
Gretzky?
Yeah.
Robert Grzycki.
Yeah, he's the singer of Ghost Factory, and just been a local musician for years here, and he does really weird, goofy artwork, and I just thought it would be kind of cool for something different,
Yeah.
Yeah. So have you ever heard Ghost Factory? You
Oh,
had
yeah.
Ghost Factory on the show.
I had Rob on the show. He he's one of the very, very first people I had on the show.
Yeah, I love
Awesome.
Rob. Yeah, he's a good guy for a podcast too. Because I have my own like sci-fi podcast to do with my buddy Fergie, and we had Rob on to talk about The Thing, and he's awesome. Yeah.
I have another podcast that I do, and I want to like get him on that one to talk about like the comic stuff he's doing and whatnot, and like just all the other stuff he's like into and whatnot. So
Yeah.
but yeah, busy.
Yeah. If you're listening, Rob, we love you. You know.
Yeah.
We're just sucking up to him right now.
Yeah. So come on the podcast, please.
Ghost Factory is playing our CD release show. That's relevant.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. In fact, I think because my CD release show is also my 30th birthday, I think I'm going to ask them to play like last instead of us, which is like kind of like taboo to not play last at your own CD release. But like, motherfucker, it's my birthday. I want to like, at least have a couple drinks.
Before you have to load out.
Yeah.
Get a little rowdy. You don't want to be like completely smashed for your set.
No, I'm kind of like I'm useless if I'm any kind of inebriated. Like I gotta like be pretty sober to play, especially in Galacticas because of like I'm singing and playing everything, and like it's just like it's a lot of my brain that I need to use, and I can't have any of it like stunted by booze or pot. So
Yeah, that's totally fair. How excited are you guys for the show?
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's just I'm mostly excited because of the great lineup we've got. I'm just stoked to just be in a room with all those guys and play music with them. They're like our favorite local bands. You got Ghost Factory and you got
The Ringwalds.
Yeah, the Ringwalds and In Search of Sasquatch, which are cool. They're a younger band that I used to play with a lot with my old band Deluge, and yeah, they just
They ended up being pretty good friends of ours. But we did one show with them when we opened for Hawthorne Heights.
Yeah.
And then we were just like, okay, let's do another one. And we brought them to Verns. And
yeah, they're cool, like indie rock band. Have you ever heard of them before?
I've heard of them. I've never like listened to them.
Yeah, they're just like indie pop, indie rock sort of thing.
Yeah.
And
cool.
And then the Ringwalds. You've talked to them before.
No, I haven't, but I know of
Attractions
them.
and the Ringwalds for me kind of like are like I don't know in the same vein or whatever.
Okay.
But like they're like a goofy just like
kind of Ramon style
punk rock. Yeah.
Okay, neat.
Yeah.
Super about like drinking and partying.
And touching butts.
Yeah. You didn't stay at Rockin' for Dollars last Wednesday, but they got trashed.
Well, they were already half cut by the time I got out of
Yeah,
there.
but Marky was like falling over. It was awesome.
That's Rockin' for Dollars for you.
Yeah.
It's the roughest Thursday morning ever.
Yeah.
If you stay that long, yeah. We unfortunately had to play second last time, and like it's a Wednesday night, and you got to work, and I've got to go to school the next day, and it's just, oh man.
The music scene doesn't cater to normal people, though. No. You gotta be somebody who like works in a bar and doesn't have to wake up the next day, and it's way easier if you're like that. But I wake up at 4:30 in the morning, so it's really hard for me to just hang out on Wednesday nights. But I try once a month.
Yeah. Even like I wake up. I have to get up at 6:30, and even that it's like hard. You know what I mean? Like it keeps me away from a lot of shows, and I'm like, I really want to see that, but also work and
You gotta be an adult,
Yeah, sometimes. Actually, we talked about this. I talked about this with someone else one time, but it would be cooler if they did just start on at least weekdays. Just start shows a little earlier.
I think generally they try to like. Like that show, I just played with my other band. They got the first band on. Oh no, we were the first band. Well, I think we started like 9:45, which isn't much earlier. But I agree. Like, yeah, start at like 9 o'clock at least on a like a Wednesday or whatever.
Yeah.
Just to cater to the people that the show did end though before midnight though, or like around midnight. So that was like, yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Because you can't have shows going till 2 a.m. on a weekday.
No.
You're just gonna isolate too many people.
Yeah. You're definitely going to sell more tickets, or at least some more tickets if you do start a bit early, I feel. So
Yeah. You can't do too early though, especially like on Fridays, because then people are like just getting off work and they're not ready to go out yet.
Yeah.
You gotta give like, there's that like medium leeway you gotta give people.
Yeah.
Because they've seen it before where people have tried to start shows at like 7 p.m. and like actually have the bands playing by 7 p.m. and it like no one's there.
Yeah.
People are just not ready to go out yet, you know?
Yeah,
Some of them
definitely.
have just gotten off work, so.
Yeah. That being said, like I've shown up to shows being like, the show's like at 9 and you're like, nobody's going on until 9:30, 10,
Yeah.
and then you get there at like 9:30 or 10 and the second band's already on.
That actually
You're
that
like,
happened to me. I saw it against me like last month, and I was thinking that's like like they won't like things won't be happening until 9:30 at least. I get there at 9:30, and it was like the second band was already almost done, and against me was about to go on stage at like 10. I was like, whoa, okay, it was okay.
Yeah.
I still saw Against Me, so.
Yeah.
Who was the opener?
Well, I would have known if I was there. There was 2 openers. It was I don't remember, man. I can't remember now.
All done before 10 o'clock. That's insane.
Yeah.
For
it
a
was
punk
pretty
rock show at Marquee.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
And they didn't sell me water, or they wanted to sell me water.
Oh
for
yeah, he went
$3.
on about this for like 2 hours while we were coming back from Winnipeg. He was like, "You don't understand the water situation. I thought this was ridiculous."
It was ridiculous. They wouldn't let me have a cup of water unless I paid $3. Like literally just a glass full, like a tiny one. It wouldn't. It's like I had to go drink out of the sink. It's like I'm not gonna pay $3 because I didn't have any cash on me because I wasn't drinking. I rode my motorcycle there.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not gonna take any money. I don't need it. But I needed it for water, so that means I'd have to go to the bank machine and take out $20, which would cost me like $2 or $3 or whatever the bank machine charges, and then I got to pay the $3 for the water. It's like like a $7 water. Yeah,
That's totally fair. Like water should be free.
yeah. Well, what a lot of venues do now, which I think is great, is for losers like me that don't buy booze very often, they have like a pitcher of water and a bunch of cups on the side of the bar, so you're not, because it's true, if you're in line and you're just asking for water, like that's annoying for the bartender. You know, they're trying to sell drinks and there's an asshole like me who's like, oh, I'm driving.
Yeah, but at least put like out a pitcher. You could even just have a water cooler. I mean, like have a water cooler in the bar. I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
A fountain.
that's me yelling at a cloud.
So I guess what kind of went into this new album? Like,
Well, like, I guess you mean like songwriting or whatever?
yeah, songwriting, and like where did you draw inspiration from? How did it come together? What's the recording process like? Sorry, this is a lot of questions.
Sure. Well, it was recorded at Echo Bay Studios with Mr. Casey Lewis. Much love, mutual respecto, Mr. Casey Lewis out there. He's the engineer I've been working with for all of my bands for over a decade now. I literally think I've given him over $100,000 at this point in time. Like, probably. It's ridiculous. Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, songwriting was really interesting because this is the first time where I've gotten to write songs that, like, in the past I was in like horror punk bands and stuff and just like goofy punk rock bands, so I was writing songs about zombies or whatever, space aliens, Transformers, who knows. But this time I got to like actually think about like stuff that like are things that are important and put them into words. And I try to think of a way to do it without being too just generic and being like, oh, I miss this girl and I love her so much. Like I may draw references from like kind of like geeky pop culture, the stuff that basically what represents the band the best, I think, because everybody in the band we're all nerds. So,
Yeah, totally.
So like it kind of like just like using like for instance the Alderaan song is obviously a reference to Star Wars, and the song all the lyrics are about like I'm using geeky references, but I'm trying to say something else with those geeky references. Essentially is basically like how all the songwriting was approached on this. And yeah, I mean, it was pretty easy to write for the most part. A lot of the songs came together really well. There's a song on there called Rotoscoping, was the last thing we wrote for it. Actually,
No, it was the second last thing.
Rotoscoping and Last Ditch were both written really quickly. Like, we had other ideas for songs. We kept messing around with a bunch of different things.
But nothing was really clicking quite yet. Like, we might go back to them and...
Yeah, exactly. Like, we had this idea for a really, really fast kind of linoleum-style punk rock, like, NoFX style song. We were working on it really hard, but it wasn't coming together. And then, like, in one night, like, Will just came over, and I had my acoustic guitar, and we just blasted out this song called Last Ditch, and then, like, later that week, we finished it, and then the next week went and recorded it, sort of thing. And so, which I find somehow the best songs are written that way, you know?
Yeah, and rotoscoping was like it was a jam. We were just like, okay, well, we've got to figure out another song, and then I just started playing, and then Dan started playing, and then you started playing, and then we recorded that onto a Zoom, and then I guess from there we all just kind of like built from there.
I changed the lyrics like literally the day before I went and sung them essentially to talk about using animation, like references of how you make old school animation as like just juxtaposed to relationships, you know, kind of, I don't know. Maybe people get it, maybe people don't, but I think it's pretty neat. So.
Yeah.
Cool. That sounds awesome. It sounds like it was a lot of fun too.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
We had a blast. I mean, one of the cool things is Dan, who we'll get to in a bit, I suppose. I don't know if we want to drop the bomb about Dan right now.
Well, it's already been announced.
Okay, well, our bass player Dan, who's not here right now, is quitting the band after the CD release party. We have a mini tour we're doing after that. I think he's going to come and do that. But once that's through, we're moving on with our lives.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's go that way. We're gonna go this way, and that's it.
But there's no malicious no bad blood or whatever. We're all really good. He just is simply like, I don't really got like, this isn't the kind of music I want to do. And he's a guitar player at heart, right? Okay. Like so, and kind of back on that point. Two of the songs on here feature guitar solos that he played because he's like
he's really good.
If I'm like Piccolo of electric guitar, he's like Super Saiyan 3 Goku of electric guitar. Okay, like so, does anybody understand what that means? Because if you don't, well, you're probably a better person than I am.
If you don't, I like fear for your childhood.
Yeah, so I had guitar solos written for these parts, but we just were like, screw it, they're not that great. And Dan just goes in there and picks up the guitar and shreds them. So it might sound a little surprising. You'll be listening to the album and all of a sudden there's just this ripping guitar solo. Yeah. It's pretty funny, but at the same time, it's cool. I don't know. I'm stoked that it's there. So.
We can't do them live.
Yeah. No,
so we have to go back to the crappy old version.
Yeah, exactly. But whatever. It's okay.
That's cool, though.
Like I said, there's some cheating on this album. But, but like, I mean, what album doesn't have cheating on it?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's like, I mean, even just half, like, you look at pop music in general.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
That's all cheating almost. So.
Exactly, yeah. So, there's, like, things you got to do like that just to, like, I like the saying, fake it till you make it, essentially.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like, Dan's leaving, so we have a guy lined up. We're not going to say who it is yet, because...
Not yet. We're still feeling everything out right now because,
Yeah, who knows? He might turn out to be, a dinosaur or something.
Yeah, serial killer.
Yeah, so...
We've hung out with him quite a bit, actually.
Yeah. So far, he hasn't tried to kill either of us or turn into a dinosaur. So,
but
things are still fresh.
Yeah, you've only seen him a couple times.
Yeah, have you seen him like on the full moon yet?
Yeah, right. You don't know. You gotta play that stuff by ear.
Exactly. You gotta take it slow sometimes with these things. First base, first month, and then second, and then move on a little bit. No, we're stoked though. We got lots planned. For the new year, so
do we? We have stuff already planned for New Year.
Well, I haven't booked anything, but I have plans.
You have seeds of ideas going in.
Cool. So what's the mini tour going to be like then? It's just kind of Western Canada?
It's just 2 shows. I think we're doing Lake Louise, and then we're doing we just did Lake Louise back in like August. It was a lot of fun, and so we're coming back November 24th, and then the 25th we're playing in Grindrod, which is like this tiny little town by this river about 6 hours away from Calgary.
Cool.
So so we'll just do those 2 and then come back on Sunday. It's how we've been doing it for most of the summer.
Just kind of weekend shows?
Yeah. A lot of it, because Dan
well, we all work, and I just got a new job, and Dan just got a new job during the summer, and it was kind of hard to book time off when you got new jobs like that.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, well, we still want to go out and get the name out of the get the name out for the band. So let's just book on the weekend. So work all week, and then come back, like Sunday night or something like that, or Monday morning.
You know,
And
so you're
then-
gone for about 3 days at a time, but which is actually a good way to do it in certain ways, because, for instance, if you're on the road for more than a couple of weeks straight, you usually in Canada can't play on Sunday, Monday, Tuesdays. Like those days, no bar is gonna book any band.
Yeah.
Like unless you hit big cities, which there are not a lot of in this part of this part of the world.
Yeah.
Essentially. So like, you know, like, so you're usually not doing anything for like 3 whole days. You're not making any money. You're doing anything.
Yeah.
And so it's rough, you know, because. Yeah, so sometimes it's better to just do these weekend things, because then you can hit the bigger towns and make the actual money, and you're not taking these huge losses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, but at the same time, it's annoying because you have to keep rescheduling. Like, yeah, you have to keep going back to work, and then you're hitting the road again. And it just gets exhausting doing it like that. So there's ups and there's downs to that kind of idea. But
I'm sure it made for a couple like really hard Monday mornings.
Oh yeah, totally.
fuck yeah! Oh no, dude, literally, I work so early. There was there was one time where we got back into the city. I think we were coming in from Maple Ridge that
It
time.
was Maple Ridge.
Yeah,
We were getting back at 1 o'clock in the morning.
we rent U-Hauls to do this, because it's actually pretty cheap to rent U-Hauls.
Okay.
So that's how we do. That's how we told it. Because I used to have a trailer with my older bands, but we ended up blowing the axle twice. So we're just like, fuck this. Let's just rent U-Hauls from now on.
Yeah.
So am I allowed to swear? Is that
Oh
okay?
yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And so we just rent U-Hauls, and then I had to take the U-Haul back. We got back to Calgary at like fucking like 2 in the morning or something. 1 in the morning.
Yeah, we were-
1 in the morning or something like that, and I still had to take the U-Haul back. So I went and did that. Like I just dropped it off at the facility, and then I had to go to work in like 2 or 3 hours or something like that. So I just drove into the parking lot because it was close to the U-Haul place, and I just put the seats down and went to sleep, and woke up and went to work just like right there in the parking lot. And I've done that a few times now.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It sucks actually, because it's kind of nice because you do get more sleep because you don't have to drive to work.
Yeah.
But the problem is you wake up right before you start work, and you're so
Yeah.
fucking groggy, like
Yeah.
logging in. So you're like, yeah.
There's none of that like leeway time where you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, get
Yeah.
myself ready in the morning.
Yeah,
you just
get a
wake up, you're
coffee
like,
or something.
Oh
Yeah,
god,
yeah.
I'm here already.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, up and at 'em. Yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah, that was probably the latest we've come back from.
That
the tour.
was stupid. I've done stupider, but that was one of the stupidest.
Yeah. Everything else we've been pretty good. We've been able to get back at like probably the latest 9 o'clock at night. Or
We kicked ass coming back from Winnipeg that Sunday. That was rad.
yeah, man. But that being said, we had an hour sleep that night because we played a show, and then my buddy, we stayed at my cousin's house, and my cousin just wanted to hang out. Like he wanted to hang out for a little bit because I haven't seen him in a really long time. But we had to leave Winnipeg and get to Calgary in 2 hours.
Yeah.
So we hung out for a little bit, and then we were like, we got to go to sleep. So we all went down to the basement. We slept for an hour. And then I was the first one
Fucking
up.
kicked us up.
I just roll called everybody, put everybody into the car, and I just took over the first shift for like the first 6 hours of driving on an hour sleep after a show.
Yeah, you were badass for doing that. Jeez.
Oh, you should have saw how I was like driving. Like I was going insane. You were asleep the whole time, but I wouldn't stop talking to Dan because I was just like, no, you don't understand Star Wars, right?
Keep me awake, please. Yeah. It's all for rock and roll, though.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do, right?
And then
Weather wasn't even that bad going out.
weather was nice in Winnipeg.
But coming back, we ended up hitting rain. And it kind of sucked because can you explain how U-Hauls work?
The U-Haul dealership gives you what they have that day. You can't reserve a particular kind. So we ended up with an open U-Haul trailer instead of a closed one. So our gear was completely exposed the whole ride, which was fine until the last day when it started raining.
Yeah.
So we had to like wrap the speaker up in a tarp, and everything was okay though.
Everything was okay, but
Actually, I haven't tried the speaker, so it might be busted, but I'm pretty sure
but we weren't really using the speaker in the first place. It was mostly just a table.
it was a table, a jam, yeah.
Yeah. We brought it just in case as like a monitor for.
Sometimes you hit venues in random butt-ass towns that just have nothing, and so you got to
Yeah.
bring your own speakers sometimes just in case. They're like, what? You guys need speakers? What is that? Yeah.
So where was your favorite place to play then?
Oh man,
or a couple of them.
a lot of them were just dead. I won't say which places, but like a lot of them were just like.
Well, we made the mistake of touring in August, and
Yeah.
advice for any band out there, like, just don't tour in August. It's a bad time. No one's, especially in these small towns in Canada, people aren't in town. People are out, so people
Yeah.
are camping or whatever. So it's not the best time. The best time really is the wintertime during ski season. So that was kind of a bummer, but we didn't really have much choice as far as timing went. So we just did it. So a few of the shows were lame, but we played some pretty good stuff. Like Lake Louise was really sweet.
Yeah.
Winnipeg was cool. That was a good
Yeah,
time.
actually, Winnipeg was really great. The room filled up kind of quickly as soon as we played, and then, but it was we played first, so it was so early in the night that like nobody was drunk enough to get partying. But
Yeah.
they looked like they liked us.
No, it was
Actually, my cousin ran around the entire venue taking video of us, and he actually cut like I'm gonna announce it. Like
Yeah, he made a music video.
He made a
for
music
us.
video for us, and we're gonna release it. I think in like 2 days.
A month before the show, so the 11th of this month, I guess. So
Yeah, that's 2 days.
Yeah, this probably won't even be.
Yeah,
up by
so it's
then,
gonna be another song. It's gonna be
Yeah.
the song "Alleyways," which is off of the. It's not personally a single I would have picked, but since you like the song, you made a video for it, so we figure, fuck it, we'll just
Yeah.
show it to people. It's still a good song, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got like his son in it, and he figured out, I don't know how he did it, but he figured out how to make our logo into like 8-bit and put it on a television screen. And he's able to-
The video is his son like playing an old Nintendo, and he puts the game cartridges that says the Galacticas on the game cartridge, and then he's playing like us on the screen. It's kind of cool. Like
Yeah.
yeah, it's a cool, neat idea.
Yeah.
You guys have had some like a couple really neat videos. Honestly, I don't
Thanks,
know. It's
man.
like, yeah, I like the style.
Yeah. I mean, like that's the. Well, I mean, I learned how to do animation a couple of years ago now, and I've just been just seeing different things I can do. I've kind of hit a brick wall. I think for my birthday, like my birthday is soon, and Christmas is also soon. So and I'm almost turning 30. So like, phoned at my parents. I was like, hey, like, you know, like, do you want to like front me some money to get like a really sweet computer for like my like for 30th Christmas / birthday present or whatever? Because I needed I want to start doing really like take the next step in animation, and my computer is just it can't do much more than what I've been able to do. So yeah. Cool. Like I want to be able to do stuff like in Roger Rabbit where they have like live action video with a cartoon character interacting with them and stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be super sick.
The program I have can do it, but the computer can't. Like it just like crashes if I try. So yeah.
Did you just kind of like teach yourself that, I guess? Or?
Well, I took online courses. It's kind of funny. They totally sucked every penny out of me. They had like a simple version of the animation program that you could get. It's like, if you're not sure, buy this version. So it was like half price. So I bought it, and then I took like this online course. It was like an hour every night for a month. It's a month course or whatever.
Yeah.
That it taught me the programs. And then as soon as I figured it out, I was like, well, now I want the better version. So
Yeah.
I went and fucking bought the better version. So I literally bought both versions of the program like a complete like sucker. Yeah. But like, you know, like either way, like, yeah. And then I just watched videos on YouTube just for free of the. Thank God, whoever these people are, they do that stuff. Like they just like it's just really great videos of how to use this animation program step by step. It was a lot of patience, like literally like every night, every day for a month. I had to come home and commit to like taking the next lesson because it's not something you can teach yourself. The program's just way too confusing.
Yeah.
Like you'd be completely lost at sea if you didn't have at least some guidance. So.
Yeah, it's the same with the program I use for recording the podcast. Like it's actually like a music making program. I just use it because I have it and it's easy.
Yeah.
But they also offer like a slightly less good version, like a trial version, and you buy that and you're like, oh, but this has none of all this other cool stuff on it. And I want all that stuff and like
yeah. So
upgrade to
then
it.
you upgrade and you're a sucker.
Yeah, I did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's same thing. Yeah, if people were not making videos on it, you'd just be like, you'd look at it and be like, how the fuck does this work?
Yeah. So like no one has the time to just trial and error everything.
Yeah,
so
it's quite daunting.
Yeah. So yeah, it's basically and so I made cartoons for our song Alberta Girl Sci-Fi and Rock and Roll, which was like our first video, and you obviously know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And then the Alderaan Song we made a video for where I tried like splicing live action with cartoons, and so now we're kind of at a crossroads debating what we should do next for a video. We have a few ideas, and yeah, I don't know. I mean,
we're playing around with another animation thing.
Yeah,
we've got this one that our friend made, so that's going to be just out, and then another animation thing maybe. we were trying to think of not just one that's like straight up live action, like something kind of goofy-ish, but like we were thinking about getting that main robot head
our logo with the robot head. That's Wilnar. That's Will's robot.
Okay.
I just like his face the most, and we're gonna make a cardboard head of that and like
put it on me and like go through a life day in the life of me, quote unquote,
just with the robot head.
Just with the
robot head.
yeah. I just have awful things happen to me.
Yeah, I like like these days the way that the way it is these days with this multimedia world we live in. If you're a band and you really want to take it seriously, like, you got to engage with people on more levels than one nowadays.
Yeah.
So next up is Pokemon cards. We're going to get into that.
Well, that'd be actually great.
That would be sweet. Yeah,
actually, if we make stickers that are in the like if we make stickers that are like Galacticas Pokemon cards and stats and everything.
That's actually such a good idea.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do.
Let's make
people would buy Galacticas cards, like different robots with different stats.
Totally.
Imagine if they were stickers too. People would want them.
Yeah,
they
were
want
stickers.
Yeah, that's actually nice. Totally just rip off the Pokemon style with like have the picture with the robot and then like the little stats underneath it to the power.
Yeah. Each of you have like different attacks related to what instrument you play.
Yeah, sweet. Okay, all right.
But we'd only have like 3 cards.
Well, we'll make up more guys.
Yeah.
We'll
Okay.
make up more robots.
You've got a bunch.
Yeah, that would be robots.
You could have like evolutions of yourself.
Yeah, that's right. and like evil versions of each of us. There's tons. Dude, Pokemon could milk that kind of thing dry, and so can we.
Yeah.
We're gonna have the Pokemon
for sure.
We're gonna have the Pokemon card or the Galacticas card game. Like now we got to figure out how to do all this.
We have to make rules and everything.
Yeah, it's like Magic or something.
Yeah. I remember kids playing Magic in like grade 3, and never like it was just like too highbrow for me and my stupid little brain. So, but I thought the pictures were so cool on the cards. And I was like, wow, that like sweet looking dragon is so like I don't know. I was so jealous. And then Pokemon cards came out, and but I was too cool for Pokemon as well. I was like. I was like punk rock before I knew what punk rock was. It was like when kids like Power Rangers, I was like, no, I like Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. And then when kids like Pokemon, I like Digimon.
You're that loser.
Yeah.
Digimon was sick. I tried watching it again in my adulthood, but
Digimon was like big when I was really young. Like
the first season's really cool, and then I don't really know. I think
the toys were the thing that were the toys were the thing.
Yeah, like
when
the
I was
things that you had to shake.
You had to shake them, right? I remember being on the bus every day and like all the cool kids. I wasn't cool, so I never had one. But all the cool kids had one, and they were all in the back of the bus shaking this damn thing. And I wanted to be that cool kid.
I don't know if I ever watched the show far enough to. Like, after the first season, I was like, I'm 25. I need to stop watching Digimon. No, I'm just kidding. I wasn't 25. I was like probably like 12
13.
or 13 or whatever. And I was like, I can't be watching
Even
this
then,
show. I was like, I gotta eventually see if I can get a girlfriend at some point. It's not gonna happen this way. So.
Yeah, I think it was like 2 years ago I rewatched it, and I was just like, the first like 10 episodes, it's the exact same plot line. It's like one of the Digimon gets introduced, and then there's something that goes wrong, and then they digivolve and they hit the bad guy once, and then they win.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah. Well, that was like literally like, whoa, Pokemon's popular. Let's make more money off of this and just do the same thing again. Because there was also Monster Rancher. I remember that one, which was it was the craziest. Do you remember that show?
Yeah.
It was like literally a kid gets a PlayStation game in the mail, like an actual PS1 game, and he goes and gets his PS1 and puts the disc in, and then he gets sucked into his PS1 game because there was a PS1 game called Monster Rancher, and he gets sucked into so the whole show was an anime product placement for a video game you could also buy, and apparently the game sucked. So
the game did suck. I tried it.
yeah.
Oh, really?
I was always really curious about it because I did watch Monster Rancher. I was like, oh, because I had like that Cyclops monster guy. I remember that guy. That's the only thing I remember from that show.
Yeah.
But like I do remember being like, geez, like they're really like selling the PlayStation game to me right now. And like that with like they had to like beat the big bad guys, and every time they beat a bad guy, they get like another PlayStation disc.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Those were like the
wow.
Those were like the trophies of like the show.
That is shameless.
Yeah.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah.
How many kids got suckered into it?
Well, I mean, it didn't work for me because like.
You were 25.
Yeah, I was 25. I was like, I know better. I'm on to you now.
PlayStation.
That was kind of like a boom time for that kind of stuff, though. Like, there was
yeah.
Pokemon, Digimon, all these trading card games were coming out.
Yu-Gi-Oh! And
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yu-Gi-Oh was big, yeah.
yeah, when anime really like got its claws into Western culture, that's when it really.
Do you remember when like I don't know if old guys still do it, but they have like those like Hawaiian shirts, but they have like anime characters or like dragons on them. Like they're like that fleece button-up shirt, not fleece, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They're kind of. Did you watch Trailer Park Boys? Did you watch that?
Yeah.
Their shirts like what Ricky would wear,
Yeah.
and they had like anime characters on it. And I remember like seeing that when I was a kid. I was like, wow, like Pokemon is, or the anime culture is huge now. When 40-year-old dudes are wearing these shitty shirts.
I really liked the only animes I really got into like for real was Dragon Ball Z. I was like, this is legit, and I still watch. I have like a lot of it on DVD, and I still will like check it out every once in a while. It's a great show. So you don't like Dragon Ball Z though?
I just never got into it. Like we've.
I think it's too late for you. Quite frankly,
it's too late.
Yeah.
It's really too late.
That was like part of my childhood, so that's why I like have fond memories of Dragon Ball Z.
Well, like because I showed like I had this girlfriend a few years ago who had never seen it before, so I was like, yeah, because she liked anime, so I was like, you should check out Dragon Ball Z, and so like she was already like 20 something, and so like she obviously didn't check out Dragon Ball Z when she was a kid, so I was like showing her the show and like not really thinking about how weird the show is, like because it was like just like the president's just like a dog, like and then like we're watching the part where like Mr. Popo first shows up, and you don't know who Mr. Popo is. He's like this like weird looking blackface sort of character. He's like this big fat jolly genie who's like all black with big red lips. And he's just like on the screen. He's like, oh hello Kami, and I just hear Savannah. Her name was Savannah, and she was just like sitting there going, what the fuck? Just like staring at the screen. I wasn't even, because I was just watching and being like, oh yep, there's Mr. Popo, just watching the show like normal, and there she is just completely
what's
like,
going on?
What am I watching?
Is this racism? Are we watching racism on a children's program?
Yeah.
It's like completely fair, because I started with like Dragon Ball, like the original one, and then I got into Dragon Ball Z, and you just don't even question the universe when you're a kid.
Absolutely. And so Dragon Ball is really like way more like of that kind of weird kiddie strange humor stuff. And so Dragon Ball Z, anytime you see anything like that in Dragon Ball Z, it's usually some sort of like leftover from the original show. Yeah,
like even Piccolo, if you don't like, you know what I mean, he's like this alien that just like hangs out with these dudes,
and he's wearing like a turban. He's kind of like it makes sense if you've been watching it for a long time, but if you were to first see it, you'd be like, what? Like, why do people think this is cool?
That's what I think all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I remember, tuning in every week and being like, but what's gonna happen?
Actually, it was on every single day because it took forever for anything to happen.
Yeah, it took like 3 episodes for anything.
So like that, and the whole reason for that is because the original manga was actually written at the same time the show was, and they couldn't progress the show until the manga was so they'd have to make filler like of Goku just standing there charging the spirit bomb for like 3 episodes because the writers still hadn't finished making the plot. Yeah. So
that's how you make a hit television show.
But I mean, and I know that's the biggest criticism Dragon Ball Z gets. Literally, that's the biggest one. They redid the show like a few years ago and chopped it down so that it matches the comic book and there's none of that filler. And they just took the same show and just chopped out all the bullshit. And now that's how you got to watch it because
there is a lot of filler for sure.
Yeah. So welcome to our Dragon Ball Z podcast. I don't know. I mean, what else is cool, Will? Star Wars?
Well, we were just watching the trailer, and you still haven't seen it. No, I was just playing Star Wars. I was just telling him I was playing Star Wars Battlefront on the way here, like in anticipation for the trailer.
Star Wars Battlefront 2?
No, the one that came out two years ago. The other next gen one.
Just Battlefront.
Yeah, just Battlefront. Regular Battlefront. Yeah. Battlefront 2 is
I don't like how they did that because this is technically Battlefront 3 and Battlefront 4.
That's what I keep saying.
Oh my God.
Why don't they just call it Battlefront 4? Yeah. Why is it so hard? Because I played Battlefront 2
it's a
like
reboot.
10 years ago.
Exactly.
It's a reboot.
It's a video game.
It's a reboot.
But it's also
why would it's confusing?
It's not confusing. I fully understand what's going on.
Did you play Battlefront 2?
Yeah, I have them still. Okay. I have those games.
I just don't get it. Why do they have to be weird like that? Just fucking make it number 4. I don't get like what
You
are
guys
they,
are thinking
what are they
too much.
what are they trying to say? Like it feels like the version that I played that was really cool is just like they're like, yeah, we're pretending that doesn't even exist anymore. Because what are you supposed to call the first Battlefront 2 now?
Battlefront 2?
But that's good.
That's not how the English language works. You have to like differentiate
Battlefront
things.
2A. And then Battlefront 2B is the one coming out.
Yeah, but I am really stoked for the new Star Wars movie. Are you a Star Wars fan?
Oh yeah, super big Star Wars fan.
Yeah. You gotta watch that trailer.
You know, it's and the song, the Alderaan Song, is partially dedicated to Carrie Fisher. You know, she passed away last year, and that bummed me out. You know, she was not very old, and we, you know, we were gonna get 2 more movies with her in it. I'm pretty sure they were gonna keep her like around in episode 9.
Yeah.
Apparently, the idea that they had was it was going to be Han Solo's movie, basically in the first one, and then it was going to be Luke Skywalker's movie in the second one, and then Princess Leia's movie in the third one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but now that she's gone, we can't really do that plan.
Yeah, so that's a bummer because, you know, she was my favorite as a kid. She was like legitimately my favorite character growing up. So
Definitely fond memories.
of the humans, anyways, or like the people that aren't wearing masks, because the mask guys always win all the time. I mean, there's all that. They always get in Boba Fett, like they're always the coolest. But then of the regular humans, she was one of my favorites for like all, you know, ever since I was a kid. She's so badass, you know. So
she's like probably the first like badass female like character in a movie. You know what I mean?
Totally,
like,
yeah.
She just like kicks so much ass. Like they come in to save her,
And then
like,
she saves them.
Yeah, they sent you.
Oh, it's great. Into the garbage chute, flyboy. And with only the kind of tenacity that like Carrie Fisher could bring to that role, you know, like, you know, it's kind of a problem that we have, like the way that she acted and the way that like, especially all the actors were in Empire Strikes Back, especially, you don't really see that in movies anymore. Like that really kind of fiery sort of like, just like the way that their dialogue kind of just spews out of them. Like there's that part where Han Solo and Princess Leia are arguing in the hallway in Hoth, and they're just bring back, you know, just assume kiss a Wookiee, and like that kind of like they're just really into it. Like it looks like a real argument, you know, and it's you don't really just see that a lot right now. So it's so refreshing when you have actresses like that, actors and actresses like that. So yeah. Anyway, Star Wars is sweet.
Star Wars is super sweet. Who's like just favorite character of like out of all of the Star Wars? Who's your favorite character?
Well, I mean, I have it tattooed on my shoulder, so I guess I should probably say Darth Vader.
I was going to say Darth Vader as well. I mean, that's kind of like the right answer, though.
That is the right answer.
Yeah.
You know, it's
That's like saying, what's your favorite Alien movie?
Yeah,
You're supposed to say Aliens. That's the correct answer.
the correct, like, or like the correct or the correct best Star Wars movie is
Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes Back.
No, it's debatable. You can, you're allowed to say A New Hope.
I got into an argument last
like
night
New Hope.
about whether Empire was better or A New Hope was better, and I was like, no, A New Hope is better.
I literally have like schizophrenic arguments to myself about that.
Nope.
I can't decide. I don't even know where to put Return of the Jedi because I love that one too, but I know it's not as good as the other two. I just know that.
I have a buddy that swears that Return of the Jedi is the best one.
It can't be. It's great, but it just
I
like,
see his point. He broke it down for me. I can't relay all his points, but
it like
he
just like
proved it to me.
it physically just like can't be the best one for so many reasons. You know, but it's still great. Like it's still got some of the best things that ever happened in all the movies ever in Return of the Jedi.
And you also have to like break it down. It's like, okay, which one is like objectively the best, and then which one is actually my favorite?
Yeah.
Those are like different things, you know.
And even that's really hard for me to figure out. You know, and what'd you think of Rogue One?
I really liked Rogue One.
You're a big fan. Yeah. I mean, I gave Rogue One a B plus or like a B or something like that. That was my. I watched it again recently. It was on Netflix, and yeah, funny to note, I don't own it on DVD. I haven't gone out and bought it. I saw it in the theaters 3 times, but I haven't really felt like with The Force Awakens, I was like lining up to buy it.
Okay.
So like I don't know. It's just watched it again, and I'm like, this is great. It's not boring. It's a lot of fun. These characters, though, like they're just nothing. They're not a big deal.
It's just like a vehicle just to get to the sweet laser battles. Like this movie was like sold on the laser battles, and like you can see
K2SO's dope. He's like,
cool, but but the pitch was space fight scene over a tropical planet and Darth Vader in a hallway. Like that was the pitch, you know.
And that's what you got. I mean, the thing is like none of the characters are bad. Like they're
No.
not. They're all fine. That's just the problem. Is like they're not really like. I'm not like stoked to like cosplay as Cassian Andor. You know, like I'm not thinking about that ever.
Nobody's gonna dress up like they dressed up like Han Solo or Darth Vader. You know.
Yeah.
So,
or even like Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Kylo Ren's huge for
Yeah.
cosplay, and it's a great costume. You know, but like the characters just weren't like. Because the thing is, we love or hate Kylo Ren, and I'm a huge fan of Kylo Ren, but I understand why some people are weird about it. You still remember him, like you know his name. Like a lot of people could not tell you the name of like the Asian dudes in Rogue One, or like
Honestly,
Chirrut
I probably couldn't tell you the name of any of the main characters in Rogue One.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was Jyn Erso,
Cassian Andor, Chirrut Imwe, the other Asian guy, the one with the long hair.
Look at you go. Anyway, and then you also have that weird part with that guy who's just like, my child, save the dream, like that whole thing.
They really botched, like they brought that character back in the Star Wars Rebels thing, and Star Wars Rebels is it's supposed to take place like 2 years before
Rogue One.
Before Rogue One, and that character 2 years beforehand, he's got all his limbs still, his hair is short, he looks really young, and he doesn't have that accent. And then flash forward 2 years, then he has that accent, and his hair is all disheveled, and he's missing limbs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was kind of a weird continuity error that you think that they'd catch, but I guess it's a children's show. They don't really care.
Yeah.
I watched the first 2 seasons of Rebels so far. It's very okay. It's very. I don't think it deserves the crazy praise. I think Clone Wars is better, at least near the end of it. Clone Wars is a still better show. So far, I haven't seen the 3rd season, and there's a 4th season of Rebels too, so I have to wait and see.
Yeah, the 4th season's coming
But
out.
I know that I don't like fucking Aladdin, the main character. I think that he's lame.
The blue-haired kid?
Yeah. You got a fucking slingshot. That's so stupid.
He loses it in the 3rd season.
Whatever.
He's all lightsabered and
Okay,
crazy.
still, he's Aladdin. He's literally Aladdin.
You shouldn't. Like,
I was at
lasers. Why are you using a slingshot?
Yeah. And they have to like stun the stormtroopers all the time. It just reeks too much of like children's show, you know.
But that's what it is.
Clone Wars was allowed to be cool.
Yeah.
Different programming. Different show.
Maybe a different society.
I was actually at Thanksgiving dinner last night, and my cousin there, he's about 13 years old, and he like Star Wars is not on his radar. Does not give a shit about Star Wars, and none of his friends care about Star Wars. And it was kind of like that weird.
How old is he?
13, 14.
Really?
He's about as far from age from me as I am to you.
Okay.
Yeah, so
like 65 years.
Yeah, around there. And just, it wasn't on his radar at all. And it was kind of like a weird, sobering moment. It was like, wow, kids like, I guess because Star Wars is so prevalent, like, kids can be like, whatever. Like, that, there's always going to be
old people stuff.
Old people stuff.
Old people stuff.
And it was it was a sobering moment. Another thing that I wanted to tell you about is that we were playing, or he was showing me all these awesome Nerf guns. He's got like 20 of these things. I was like, these are sweet. But some of them are like modeled after the aliens' colonial.
The pulse rifles.
The pulse rifles. Some of them are modeled like that. And I was telling him, I was like, oh, these are like they're modeled after the pulse rifles in this movie called Aliens. And he's like, oh, I've never seen that movie. And I was like, oh, dude, you're 13. Like, this is the perfect age. This is the Aliens. Like, you got to see it. It's awesome. And he's like, okay. And then he starts showing me this game on his computer. And he was like, oh, I got to show you this area where you can find a spaceship and there's some like alien creatures around it. And he takes me to this place and there's like aliens from Alien from it.
Yeah. And you're like, that's the
aliens from Alien. He goes, oh, they're in so many video games. I was like, you don't know that? How do you know? And he's like, they're called xenomorphs. I was like,
welcome to getting older, man.
It was a weird moment in my life. I was like,
if you're the same, you're just the same as like when you're like some kid's old dad and the kid's rocking out to like a cover song of like some old classic rock song, and the kid's like, man, I love like that the Red Hot Chili Peppers I love the Red Hot Chili Peppers when they played like like Stand By Me, and then you're the old guy being like, that wasn't by the Chili Peppers.
Higher ground, man. They did a popular cover.
Exactly, yeah. So like I remember like hearing my roommate at the time rocking out to a techno version of the song Poison by Alice Cooper, and she had no idea Alice Cooper originally did it, and I like lost my shit. I was like, you can't not, like, you need to know this, man. She probably thought it was nuts. It's like you're not allowed to listen to this anymore until you hear Alice Cooper's version. So.
Bet that person stayed your friend for a really long time.
Actually, I saw her on the weekend.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
I mean, like, how many songs are going to go that way, too, with, like, electronic music and stuff, and, like, how much...
Well, it seems like everything's off the table now with as far as, like, just, like, taking... Like, no one seems to care anymore that you just take the chorus from another song and put it in, and everyone's just like, whatever.
Yeah. You can just copy-paste stuff, and it's, like, just change the key.
Well, I've always wondered... Remember when there was that song that's, like... who was the one who sang it? That song that was, like, you spin me... or... Well, it was like, when you go down, when you go...
Oh, yeah, they did that stupid remix.
Well, like, they didn't even sing the same lyrics as... Because obviously the chorus is kind of lifted from that You Spin Me Right Round, like, Record Baby. They didn't even use the same lyrics, and they kept, like, the melody almost exactly the same, but changed it, and you could still tell it was, like, it was, like... So I'm like, I wonder how many people who heard this version know what they're doing, what they're referencing to.
Yeah.
And even, like, Kanye West's, like, that Work It Stronger We, like, had, like, Daft Punk. Like, that was a song by Daft Punk that I used to listen to, like, when I was a kid, and then, like, Kanye West, like... remixed it and put it in one of his songs, and everyone's like, oh yeah, Daft Punk, and I'm like, bitch, this song came out so long ago.
This was 97 when that song came out.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
So I mean, but like, I mean, you can get all upset about it or whatever. I'll just play punk rock and try not to care anymore.
Like it could just be like, you can think of it as like, hey, they're ripping it off, or you could look at it like, hey, they're paying tribute. You know what I mean?
Yeah. As long as people, that's the problem though, is they can pay tribute, but if people don't know and they don't care, then what's the point? Yeah. So, but I guess maybe the artist that they're taking it from is getting like lots of money, and they probably
they probably are getting a fuck ton of money.
Probably.
Except for Miss poor Taylor Swift, who isn't going to see a cent from us.
No way. No. Actually, if we were talking about it, if we get a cease and desist letter, like, we know we made it.
Yeah. If Taylor Swift finds out that we covered one of her songs and sold it on our CD, that means that, like, we got
that
some
CD
attention.
got around.
Yeah.
Dude, your song got listened to by somebody who knows Taylor Swift.
They would have to physically have the copy of the album and go through the entire album before they even listen to it.
So basically, and it's such a small pressing because we're a stupid little punk band that, like, if we did get in trouble, it's easy enough for us to just, like, get more CDs pressed without the song on it if they really were that butthurt. So we're not too concerned. Yeah. So we did think about this. We're just like, we're gonna literally breach copyright law by doing this. But,
and we're announcing it on a podcast that we are.
Now that I'm sure Taylor Swift is listening to it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Taylor Swift totally listens to my podcast.
Wouldn't that be funny if she actually did for some reason?
Yeah, it would be really funny.
She has, like, her own, like, NSA, like, scouring the internet for people breaching copyright.
We get a call the day after this is released. We're like, so who are these Galacticas guys, and why are they ripping me off?
Yeah, that'd be sweet if that happened, actually. I'd be stoked.
No, that'd be awesome. I think everybody would actually be happy in that situation.
Yeah. It would be really it'd be a really, really funny thing to read about on the internet for one day and forget about the next day.
So how is making this album different from, say, the EP?
Well, I mean,
longer for one.
It was just, the EP was interesting because
we were still trying to, like, figure ourselves out, like, what kind of sound we wanted to do. Like, there's a song on that EP that we just straight up don't play anymore, Inspire the Fire. We've not that we've abandoned it, like, but we haven't pulled it out.
It just wasn't, like, our direction. The cool thing with the EP was that it was, like, me, like, being like, okay, I finally have the freedom to, like, write exactly the songs I want to write in the way I want to write them, and I got two guys here that are, pretty willing to do whatever, and so it was like, it was like a really, like, I could do anything I wanted, essentially. But then as soon as, like, Alberta Girls and everyone heard the song, it meant that we had, like, a sound now that we had to kind of, present to people, and so, like, going from that, we had a bit of, like, a bit of a guideline as to how the album should sound. Which is cool. One of the things I really wanted to kind of tone down was the first EP is very vibrant and kind of goofy. Like, it's really just like, because I kind of wanted to make an impression. Be like, yo, like, check it out. Galacticas. this I kind of wanted to bring that back a little bit, and so that's because the songs aren't joke songs, like they're not. Like unfortunately, like some people might think that they might like hope they are because of the Galacticas, but there's not really any like.
There's nerdy references, but
there's
they're
like
not jokes and
you know, it's like a Marvel movie where it's like it's got its humor, but it also takes itself seriously, you know. But it's not like a DC movie where you're basically like listening to like Depeche Mode or something.
That's good. That's good.
That was a great comparison.
Yeah, I did see that Justice League trailer though. It looked pretty sweet.
Yeah,
I gotta say, like all the people that hate on DC, like I don't have a leg in the fight either way. I don't care who wins this fight between Marvel and DC.
Just make good movies.
Yeah, but I was thinking like, wow, these Marvel people are gonna be like putting their fists in their mouth as they're seeing this trailer. Like it looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
like,
it looks cool. I just don't know what the hell they're gonna do in it. Like
there's gonna be lots of sweet explosions.
Yeah. What are you guys' thoughts on Aquaman?
Like I said, I got no leg in the fight, so he's a big.
I don't know.
Guy. He's unrealistic beauty standards for men. Okay, like
that's what I was gonna say. How am I gonna compare? Before Aquaman was lame like me, but now he's so cool.
Makes me feel very insecure about my body.
Yeah.
He's like 6'7" and really jacked.
And
so,
super long hair.
What kind of impression does that give to small boys? Anyway, yeah, that's all I got to say about Aquaman. But like, I actually like this version of Superman.
Yeah.
I'm one of like the 14 people in the world that actually think Man of Steel is an okay movie.
Yeah.
So I like this version of Superman.
There's 12 people.
Okay, yeah. There was 14 last week.
Yeah, we killed them.
Yeah. No, I actually like. I'm not a huge Superman fan in general. So when I saw Man of Steel, I was like, I don't care if he kills somebody. Who gives a shit.
Yeah.
I'd be killing people everywhere if I was Superman. so I was okay with Man of Steel, and Suicide Squad was like okay, I guess. Actually, no, it kind of sucked.
Yeah, I had like high hopes for it too, but I don't know. I watched it and I was like, there's just like really no kind of direction that this is really going.
It starts off pretty good, like the beginning, and then like the ending is just like we must fight evil bad guy at the center of city, and we are all friends, and we use the power of friendship to beat bad guy.
Yeah,
it's one of those things. So
yeah.
So I don't know what else DC is there that's like. Oh, Wonder Woman was pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't mind Wonder Woman. But Wonder Woman is a Marvel movie.
Well, we've already established on the last podcast, and we were talking about Ghostbusters, that Will hates women. So,
I've redeemed myself. Come on, man. I thought Wonder Woman was good.
No, you were about to say
it's a Marvel movie. That's what makes it good.
That's true. It is like. Have you seen Wonder Woman?
No, I haven't yet.
Yeah, it kind of does play like a Marvel movie. It's much more like humor based and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's cool. Like. It would have been cooler if it came out 10 years ago when I wasn't so tired of like the same old kind of stuff. And it's a good superhero movie, but it's still like you got your hero origin, and then she has a big CG battle at the end with the big bad guy. It's like that whole thing, it's a little boring in that way, but like, for what it is, it's pretty good. And the guy, Captain Kirk, Chris Pine, or is that who it is?
Yeah, Chris Pine.
He's great. He's in it.
Cool. Yeah. He plays like the damsel in distress all the time. He's the guy that's getting knocked out and getting rescued throughout the entire movie, basically.
Okay.
Kind of. I mean, he's still a badass.
He's still a badass. Yeah. I like him a lot. I like him in the new Star Trek series a lot. Too.
I do. Yeah, I think he's a decent Captain Kirk.
Did you get to that new Star Trek series at all?
Nah.
Did you?
I haven't watched it, no.
No, my dad's been watching it. He says it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It looks cool.
Yeah, I've heard like at least the biggest issue like fans have with it is it's more actiony and less like explory and diplomatic and like
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
See, Star Trek for me, my favorite Star Trek is the original show, like the 1960s show, and that is like it's got its like sweet plots and head trips, but it is kind of more of like cowboys in space sort of thing where they're fighting with their phasers and there's lots of exciting stuff that happens. That's the Star Trek I like, so I might appreciate this.
Yeah.
I just saw some Next Gen in like the last like year.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Yeah. I don't know. I can see why it's so popular.
Yeah.
But I'm not a Star Trek guy, really. Mostly Star Wars.
No, me either. I'm more Star Wars. But have you guys seen Firefly?
Yeah.
Yeah. I never got through it, actually.
Really?
I'm one of those. I'm one of the 14 people on this side that just never finished Firefly because I never found it interesting.
Yeah.
But I think it's cool. but at the same time, like the
There's no way it can avoid its hype. It's so overrated.
It's
Yeah.
super overhyped.
Like it's cool. Like if it was one of those shows that like I just kind of knew about and like watched like by accident, then I'd be like, wow, like what a cool show.
It unfortunately has that like the stigma of the early 2000s kind of attached to it, and you can kind of still feel the early 2000s kind of
Which Will and I agree, the early 2000s is like the worst point of like all media.
it's
like
all awful.
like all like movies and music really sucked at that particular like from 2000 like 1999 besides The Matrix, from like 2000 I guess to like 2006. Things, there was like
2006, 2007. When Rihanna came out, that's when the world started to change and become a better thing.
Yeah, because like it was really bad. Like, how old are you, by the way?
27.
27. Okay, so like because then you're 2 years younger than me, so you were in high school the same time I was. And when I was in high school, rap was like the biggest thing, and it was not good rap. Like I got nothing against rap.
No, yeah,
but like,
I agree.
But like the stuff that was coming out, like it was mainstream. We had like 6 rap stations in Calgary on the radio, and they all played. It was like Chingy and 50 Cent and Jay-Z and all this really just like super cookie cutter stuff, and it was just awful. Like it was like, and that was the most popular stuff. That's what all cool kids listened to.
That's when nu metal kind of happened as well.
Nu metal was like kind of dying out by then. Nu metal was really popular like from like 95 to like
okay,
because like Limp Bizkit and Korn got their starts in the mid 90s.
That was definitely like the tail end of nu metal.
Yeah.
But like metal was a big thing. Like there was like it was like metal and like hip hop in my school. You know?
There was
I would say like around 2006 is when like the indie kind of music really started to kind of like come out, and indie became the new mainstream. It still is the mainstream. It's really impressive how indie music, I've always like kind of noticed like indie music's so cool because it's so versatile.
Yeah.
You can have like Metric's an indie band and Death from Above 1979's an indie band,
and
they don't sound anything the same.
They're completely different,
and they can both be on the radio. Like it's like it's really this really neat dynamic style of music, which is why it's managed to stay so popular for so long.
Yeah, because you can also throw in elements of hip hop or elements of electronic music.
Because you would also say like 21 Pilots is an indie rock band. And then like Tokyo Police Club, like they don't sound anything like, but like they're both indie. It's kind of a cool genre for that. I do tend to tell people that we're like an indie rock band in a way. Sometimes, if to people I know that know what indie means, generally I say pop punk, but we don't do enough like ohs to really be pop punky. I don't feel like I have like the pretty enough voice to be a pop punk singer. Yeah. So
people have said that you have a high enough voice to be considered pop punk, but it's not that like Tom DeLonge.
I wish I could sing like Tom DeLonge. He's sweet, but I'm stuck with what I got. So it kind of keeps this. And plus, I really like having just like the heaviest guitar sound. Like I just like having big like metal sounding guitar because I love the Misfits, and like in the 90s the Misfits really just like they played their guitars through bass amps, so like it just has this huge and I love that sound. So I like doing like having this really heavy drums and bass and guitar sound, but like poppy stuff over top, poppy catchy choruses. Because I love, if it's a 3-piece, you got to make up for the lack of like instruments. So just be really loud and heavy and
just try to get people's attention just by like plugging the amp in and just going gung 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 gung.
I don't. I'm also very simple. Since I guess we're talking about this now, I don't use any guitar pedals whatsoever. I plug straight into my guitar amp. So I just made sure I got a really cool guitar amp with a tone I really liked, and I barely ever do anything. I don't even use a clean tone on stage so far. It's mostly just me plugged straight into the amp. And guitar pedals for me, I just find that your average blonde girl's not going to notice you like step on the phaser pedal, and it's just another thing to get unplugged when I'm jumping around on the stage. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, the only point I started noticing stuff like that is when I started producing music. Do you know what I mean? And I can actually like now. Once you start making music, you listen to music differently. I find
that's absolutely yeah. Well, and that's just it. Is who are you making the music for? Are you making it for people that just want to rock out and dance, or do you want to make music for other musicians? Yeah. And that's a very serious question you got to ask yourself. And I kind of decided to take the route of making music for just like regular people that just want to like just
dance and party.
Dance and party. Yeah, because I just like when people dance,
Yeah.
And I don't really care. I'm never gonna be able to. I'm not talented enough to impress like the musicians. They're like I'm just not ever gonna be. So I might as well at least just make easy pop that can.
And I mean, like, the bigger crowd anyway is just the people who are there to dance and have a good time.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Well, more importantly, that's where more of the girls are. And where the girls are is where the people are. So, it is kind of funny. Like, I was in this street punk band for years called Conniving Cadavers. There's like this. I still am. We get back together like once a year to play. Like, we're doing a Halloween show coming up because we're like a horror punk band.
Cool.
And a very popular band with like the Calgary Beer Corps. And I kind of realized like all the people that were coming up to me and being like, man, like respect. We're like big, smelly, hairy, like metal guys, And eventually I was like, man, like why don't I have a cool girlfriend? I thought like I'm in this cool band. And it was like, oh, that's a cool band to like big, hairy, smelly metal punk rocker guys. But like, but no, they don't. So that's kind of how you want to. It's just funny when you think about it that way, and you're just like, oh, who am I really impressing right now?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's the same. You go to like a metal show. I went to my friend's metal show, and I was like looking around the room. And I was like, there's like 3 girls in here.
Yeah, it's too bad, but I am a huge advocate for like I would love it if we saw more girls playing, going to shows obviously, and playing music. It'd be the greatest thing. Like there was this band I saw recently called Mademoiselle, and they're just a 2-piece girl. They're very young. I think they're only like 18. I think they're just able to
18, 19.
Yeah, and they're really great. They were like just like a kind of a. Yeah, like a 2-piece, almost like White Stripesy sort of thing. Very garage rocky, and it's just great to see. It's just like it's refreshing. It adds life to the music scene. You know?
Definitely.
We are starting to see more and more of it.
Well, yeah, I guess like Nicola, how do you say her last name, Lafarve or something like that?
I don't know, Tesla.
Yeah, Nikola Tesla. Well, she's the bass player for Night Committee, and she's also she fronts a couple like 2-piece. Girl punk rock band,
but she's part of an organization of like girls rock camp.
And
they try to like get like younger girls into.
And
rock
that's
and
where
roll.
the people, Jackie from Mademoiselle
that's
is
where
from.
That's
where
right.
they're from.
Yeah, and it's great to see that it's not just like a bunch of just guys on stage all the time.
Yeah. It is like really refreshing to start to see more and more females get into it.
It's still not enough though. Like,
I agree.
It needs to be more like because there has been like it's a little bit more than it used to be, but I've been going to shows for like 15 years, and so for the amount of time I've been going to shows, it hasn't like it should be like pretty equal by now, but it's like
it's not.
It's very far from
It's
it.
a super boys game.
Yeah, which is I don't know. It sucks. Really sucks to see. But like things like Rock for Dollars, like I think you know what that is. Right? Like, we've talked about it a few times, and for anybody who's listening who doesn't, that's on Wednesday nights at the Broken City. You just sign your band up and anybody can play. And that kind of thing has just been so great for the music community, and I think it's also responsible for getting more girls involved, because it's like if you're a couple chicks in a band and you like aren't sure about like if you're a little nervous about getting your first gig, you just can sign up for Rock for Dollars and you can see it's a lot of fun, and then
it's also only like it's 15 minutes, right? So,
it's like and it's basically impossible to suck like at Rock for Dollars.
It is
like it's because there's noise. There's noise acts there, and some people are like, "What the hell's going on here?"
Yeah.
Like,
I've seen bands go on and they've intentionally tried to suck, and it's still like, this is kind of cool.
Oh, for sure. So if you're like a chick who's listening to this and you really want to try it, like you have nothing to worry about. It's like it's like a great night. You just go. It's super chill.
Everybody's supportive. Everybody wants to hang out. Well, that's what BJ Downey does so well. Is he really forces the hockey lineup on everybody, and
that's the greatest. Yeah, the hockey lineup,
and that's the key of like this resurgence of the music scene the last little while is this fucking hockey lineup, because you're forced to like get face to face with people.
He's adamant about it. Yeah, so basically he tells after every band plays, he tells everyone in the bar, everybody, bands, and
he'll call you out on it too.
Yeah, he'll call you out, and everyone has to get into a lineup, and then the band that just finished has to go and shake the hands of everybody in the bar, and everyone says good game or whatever.
Yeah,
and like I remember when Rock for Dollars first started about 2 years ago, me thinking like, oh yeah, how many times is this going to actually happen? And here we are 2 years later. And the whole bar does it still, like all the way, like around the corner, like about.
When we did the Ramones one, like after the first band played, it was he didn't even ask the crowd to do it. It was just like instinctual. The crowd just like, hockey lineup, we're in.
That's so true. Yeah, he didn't even need to ask people.
Yeah, he was actually like on stage, like, oh, I didn't even have to say anything. Okay, this is great, everybody. Okay.
It is a really, really great like little touch to the whole. It's what separates it from every other like open jam or whatever,
Yeah.
So I mean, Rock for Dollars is like the greatest. So Rock for Dollars and Verns are like the backbone of the Calgary music scene.
Yeah, or at least the punk scene altogether.
Well,
like
they're giving everybody a chance, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
you need
yeah.
that. You need that because I talked to lots of bands I know just from like touring around, and like guys like in Vancouver and stuff. And there's just not really good entry place for a new band to start, Like, you need to have those venues that just, like, give you a chance, Because Vancouver, it's very, like, you got to already be popular if you want to gig.
Yeah.
So, which is, how do you do that, right? Like, you need to start somewhere. So it's great that we have places like Verns and Rock for Dollars.
Yeah, or
for
even
sure.
like the all ages scene is a good place to start out, and that's what we were talking about Graham McKenzie before you came in, and like that's what playing those kind of shows or to all ages shows is probably a great way to start out as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, there's just not very much of that going on.
No,
unfortunately.
but like
Graham's
he's
kinda-
trying. He's really trying.
Yeah.
Like in New Black back when I started at New Black, and that all ages thing was like perfect.
Yeah. The New Black was a really great place, but it just they couldn't keep up with the zoning laws.
Yeah.
It's really unfortunate that we live in a city that just like is just not cool with all ages venues for kids. It is the number one thing to keep kids out of trouble.
Yeah,
like, you don't
for
want your
sure.
kids getting into drugs or doing some bad stuff. Get them into music and get them playing shows, and they will not. I know I am like
They will never have money for drugs ever again.
That's right. No, I'm a perfect example. I was when I was really like I needed to be cool when I was a kid, and I really started hanging out with these shitty people who were like full on criminals, like actually. And I was hanging out with them because I wanted to be cool, and then my friends were like, "Yo, let's start a band and let's play music together." And like I was like, "Oh, I don't need to like hang out with these fucking jerks anymore. Music's cool," and that was it. That was it. It totally works, and so we need to like really like push like our local politicians to like just like kind of ease off the slack or give us some slack and let us have all
Let the kids rock.
Let the kids rock, man. Like I was a part of a program called Anatomy Productions through Deluge, and we put on shows at a community center. We started at the New Black, and then we moved to a community center because the New Black closed down, and we went to Queensland, way down south, and we had a community center there. But we had to actually stop doing it because like there was incidents where like one kid like had a panic attack, and then the insurance was all like there's all these. It was just like a really sketchy situation financially because like there's just too much red tape you got to deal with if you want to like put on a show. And all we wanted to do was just we set up our PA, the kids set up their amps, and we just let them play for and we don't make any money off of it. Like literally, we
You have to front the whole thing yourself.
Well, we managed to get the hall for free, so we worked bingo at the Great Place, Like we would work bingo Thursday nights till midnight, and hand out bingo to old people that smoke a lot, and then they would let us use this community hall for free through some connection, and so then we put on the shows, but we had to stop just because there was like all these logistics, like the neighborhood would complain because none of the kids were so well behaved. Usually they brought their parents to shows, which is not something you did when I was a kid. You did not bring your parents to shows, so we didn't even need to hire security because everyone was super chill. But there was just like some complaints, and then there was this panic attack, and it just got too sketchy to keep doing it,
Yeah.
So it's kind of an antagonistic city for just putting on like all ages shows,
Yeah, it seems that way, and there's not a lot of venues for all ages shows. Like even with like the major minor thing, they get really creative with their venues.
They get really creative, but they only do it once a month.
That's true.
But that's a really good idea. It keeps it fresh,
It does. It really, really does.
Yeah.
But there's got to be like an actual place, like
They'll have to be eventually if he wants to keep doing it like steady.
yeah.
But I agree, though. It's like the number one thing to keep kids out of trouble. Like, why do you do all this shitty? Like, why do you go and drink as a kid, or why do you go and try drugs? It's
because you're bored.
fucking
You're
bored.
Yeah. That's it. You give a kid a guitar and you give him a place to play for his friends. He's not going to be bored.
No.
He's going to learn to be good at that guitar. That's what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Or she. And so it's just
He'll learn how to be lame and make no money like the rest of us. And
I mean, it does kind of set you up to like get obsessed with music and then like never like make any real money.
Yeah.
So actually, I don't know. Maybe getting into drugs is better. At least you'll make money.
you can at least start selling.
And then if you get
drugs.
sent to jail, you'll get like food.
Yeah, 3 square meals,
Yeah,
a
so-
place to sleep.
Yeah, it's now that I think about it, I don't know.
Fuck this band, man. I'm going to jail.
Like the band starts selling drugs.
Yeah.
You're good.
That's a new T-shirt we're working on.
Yeah. Yeah. Ugh, yeah. It's actually now I'm kind of depressed.
Oh, man. So, are there any kind of final things you guys want to throw out there?
Well, I mean, CD releases November 11th at the Night Owl. I don't know if it's upstairs or downstairs. It doesn't really matter.
It doesn't really matter.
You'll get there and you'll find out as soon as you get there. But November 11th. What else we got going on before that? We have nothing. Nothing we can really talk about.
Nothing really. No.
I'm going away. Like I'm leaving.
He's going away, and
this Friday, so there's not gonna be anything happening for the rest of October unless
I'm in school, and Dan's doing his thing, and I think Dan's gonna be focusing on Dead Pixel stuff.
Yeah.
For the most part, he's in another band called Dead Pixel, and they're starting to get some pretty good traction in the city, and he wants to. That's part of the reason why he's leaving. Is he wants to focus more on that. And
they're like a gypsy rocky sort of like a lot of swing music. Really cool stuff, and he's a singer for that. So I guess just come out November 11th, and we're really proud of this album. We really hope you guys like it.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have a good time. That's all that matters, right? Star Wars is cool.
Star Wars is cool.
Yeah. Star Wars is cool. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you very much for being on the podcast again.
Well, thank you.
Time is your abuser, and now you're just a loser. You couldn't keep up with the clock now, baby. You had your cartoon heroes, you had your ones and zeros, but now they left you in the dark now, baby. When there's new things to decide, well, it's alright. But I'm still having dreams of Alderaan, and I know Spider-Man and Hulk are long gone. If you can't choose the things that set me free, well, I'm running away from me. In a foggy picture, you dance with Carrie Fisher. The sands of time will turn to glass there, baby. You got no rhyme or reason, no time or place or season for you to keep flying the Vulcan, baby. Autobots have said goodbye, but it's alright. But I'm still having dreams of Alderaan, and I know Spider-Man and Hulk are long gone. If you can't choose the things that set me free, well, I'm running away. Oh, sex and drugs and party life would never kill the kid inside. Worlds made of binary will always wait for me. But I'm still having dreams of Alderaan, and I know Spider-Man and Hulk are long gone. If you can't choose the things that set me free, well, I'm running away. I'm still having dreams of Alderaan, and I know Spider-Man and Hulk are long gone. And won't you tell me again what you say? 'Cause I'm running away from me.
If you liked this episode of the podcast, why not leave a review? You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. For up-to-date information on the podcast, follow us on Facebook and Twitter. You can find us at Froggy Style Productions. That's Frog, the letter E, Style Productions. For more ways to support the show, visit fsproductions.ca.